I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, talk to the people.
Talk to the people. Mike, can you talk actually real quick, just a little bit?
Yeah, I'll go talk. I'll go talking. I need to mute the video. It's happening. Oh man, I don't know. I'm tired today, which is funny. Like yesterday, we were doing way more. I think it's because it's Friday, and
Yeah.
I know I'm working all weekend, and I'm tired. And we were doing pre-writes. And we had that meeting while IGN was happening, and
yeah, it was an exhausting day.
I'm just tired.
I'm run down.
I need to go visit. I need to go visit my dad after this because I haven't seen him since he had knee surgery. So I need to do that so that I'm a good son. And I really just want to go to sleep. But we will do it.
We'll do. You know what? We'll make it a quick show. This one doesn't have to be.
We don't have to make it a quick show.
Well, we don't have to. We don't have to do a bunch of news. Like, am I really going to go over the news of the last week? We'll talk about some big stuff. But like I didn't even put the news together right now. So if anyone is in the chat and wants to tell me some news that we should talk about, let me know.
I mean, the questions people ask us often get to the big news of the thing. And yeah, we'll be fine. I mean, obviously, I'd rather we not go 2 hours long. I suppose,
no, we won't.
Yeah, we're doing an 8-minute show as WienerBeat Decides. I didn't even know his name. So WienerBeat Decides. Wiener spelled wrong, I think.
Well, yeah, that doesn't matter. That's
Wiener is W-E-I, right? It's not W-I-E.
I think you're right, but that's how he spells it. That's Ryan.
So much for I before E.
That's a human being that I'm aware of. I'll say.
It is a human being that you are aware of. WienerBeat Decides.
I went to his wedding. I went to WienerBeat Decides' wedding. I'll say that much.
Wow. What is Arby's going to think about WienerBeat Decides?
I don't know.
Ruining our brand.
Oh, man. Okay, let's see here. News top for this past week. On our games, what do they got? Anything? Oh, top story, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Don't forget about the
CDPR thing.
Yes, which is funny right now because I think actually what they did worked because people aren't talking about that very much. So we laughed at them, but hey. Wake up, get out there. That's what I always sing to myself when I'm feeling very tired. It's to encourage myself to keep going. It's a song from Persona 5. Wake up, get out there. That'd be a good, like, if I was somebody who set my alarm to be a song, like a psychopath, that would be my song.
I like how psychopaths use songs for their alarm.
I don't know why I associate that with
maniacs. Someone who kills people, for sure. Yes.
But there it is.
You know what? There's no reason people can't see us while we're doing this. I got to fix your camera anyhow.
People need to see my face. Look, I'm repping my AEW today. All sorts of good stuff.
It's pretty good.
I feel like I'm getting mildly self-conscious about how everyone else who does this seems to have some kind of LED shelving unit, and I have like this dresser that has been in my room since I was 5 with stuff, just like stuff on it.
Mike, I will say that I think we do not need to try to be like everyone else. I think that I get what you mean, but no one has ever complained that we don't have LED shelving behind us. No one has ever said anything. I'm not saying
I want to do it. I guess I am surprised that seems to be like the default everyone goes to. Like, well, obviously I need LED shelving.
You know, I think you have the Rocketeer behind you. I think people prefer that for sure. All right, I got to find out. EA was hacked as well, right? EA hack. I gotta find out what's going on here. EA
Like
hack.
I saw that happen, and I was just like, I don't have the energy to care about this right now. I'm sorry. I know it's my job to care about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this is why all this stuff happens now. I'm just gonna.
Anti-macro to shut up. They even do anything? Were you just testing buttons? It's even here.
What now? What?
Your automated message that Jeff sends by hitting a button to shut up macro went out. I don't think
I must have accidentally hit that. I did feel like I hit something, but yeah.
Andrew Wilson. Hey, look, we got a super chat. He is there. Hi, macro. That's a good question, Jedi Moss. I'll be excited to answer that during the show.
I can feel my earache coming back. The painkiller's wearing off. I should take some more.
Oh, that sucks. Take some more. Take some more good
I'm going to. Yeah, hang on. You know what? Man, Vice has this. I'm just going to keep this page open from Vice.
I had a pool in the backyard when I was growing up, and it was fun and everything, but I would get a lot of earaches from the gross pool bacteria getting into my ear, and they were awful. And it sure was better when that stopped.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about those 2 hacks in the news, and then we're just going to answer questions pretty much.
Yeah, I've got a couple things that I play that I can talk about, like obviously 7, and I actually played Kena in the Bridge of Spirits.
Is that how did they say it? Because you played it.
Yeah, I did just play it for like 2 hours. You think I should know, but I
do think you should know.
Yeah. Shut up, Jeff.
All right, I am struggling. I'm just gonna
imagine if things were normal right now. You'd be living with me. You'd be.
I know. Yeah.
You'd be in an Airbnb with me and Dean and probably Giancarlo.
Mm-hmm. I like that stuff. I like hanging out for a little bit because it's so much different than what I'm used to, and also
it's very different for me. I live alone.
I like Los Angeles though. I like Los Angeles a lot, and it's fun. All right,
Los Angeles is fun. Los Angeles. Oh no, I can't say these things that long. I think it's not a secret. Me and you like these trips to Los Angeles much more than the ones to San Francisco.
Not a secret. Yep.
Maybe we should not to say we hate San Francisco. But, well, here's the thing: like GDC is like in the middle of like downtown, kind of derelict San Francisco, and it's not very fun.
It's not. All right, let me tweet that we're gonna go live soon.
Yes, and I will retweet your tweet. How many followers do we need to have before we get our own hotel rooms so we don't have to share anymore? Like, how are we really cool?
We're games journalists. I don't think we're ever going to get there.
That Nintendo Ultra 64 shirt rules. Did you buy that?
I did, yes. I absolutely did.
That's great.
They were watching on Nextlander today. They stopped watching the Koch Media thing and put on the 1995 E3 thing that Anthony Parisi recorded and put on YouTube, and the Ultra 64 logo came up, and I'm like, that logo is so good. It's so good. I need it. And I immediately went to buy a shirt.
So like the grocery store around here, Giant Eagle, he used to have like Eagle Video was like the video renting thing tied to it, and their Nintendo 64 section was just labeled Ultra 64 like the entire time.
Oh, that's so
like,
awesome. Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
2001.
Oh, that's so my shit.
Incredible. It was incredible. I remember because the what was it, Cruisin' USA and something else would have that Ultra 64 logo spinning around there.
Yeah. Okay. I tweeted it. Where is this? That's okay. Noise removal is on. Turn that off and then check this. How'd that sound? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm sorry. Jason messaged us. I know you don't read Slack, but I do, Jeff. I have to do it
did he DM me on Twitter instead?
No.
Then I'll answer.
Sometimes that doesn't even work. So then I get into a Signal, and that's texting you. I don't even bother. You don't read your text. WienerBeat Decides gave us money. He forgot to type in his question. WienerBeat, if you write your question now, I'll try to remember it for when it comes up. I'll find it, WienerBeat. I'm just very excited to say his name out loud on the show.
I can tell. All right, let me close this and then close.
Man, a Foundation for Inner Peace just gave us a very nice super chat.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
I could use some centerpiece. Let me open the beer before we start.
Yeah, open a beer.
I'm
just trying to go through the process of what I need because we're not doing on Zencaster anymore. We've been.
Yeah, you take your time. We're all good. They're all here. I'm entertaining them.
Yeah,
look, guys, I got a Southern Tier 2X IPA. Oh, he just turned my video off.
No, I just was messing with something. You should be back.
I understand. Yeah, well, I was showing them the label right when you say, look, here it is. It's good stuff here. Southern Tier. I don't think they're based here in Ohio, but they have some breweries here, and they're very nice. And this one is strong because I could use a stronger one today. We'll see how weird I get. I don't know if I get much weirder than yesterday when I was making 9/11 jokes, but we'll see. I wasn't making 9/11 jokes.
No, we were making jokes about Kojima saying 9/11 way more than the normal person during an E3 press conference.
Yes. Maybe I shouldn't have done it anyways, but
it was an infinite amount more than what you normally hear someone say 9/11 during an E3 press conference.
It is, yes. It did make me think afterwards, like, man, maybe I should probably not be quite so edgy. Not that I ever considered myself an edgy person.
No, but
I bet if I had another 10 seconds to think about that one, I wouldn't have said that.
As far as I know, I don't think we got any complaints, but I haven't looked at every single comment on YouTube.
No one said anything. Hey, look, check out, guys. I'm going to use my Raptor Claw.
All right, here you go, everybody. Brace yourselves. He couldn't do the push to talk, so we couldn't get the satisfying sound.
I know. I'm gonna have to. I should just turn push to talk off when I'm doing the show because I can't play my recorder well.
Yeah, you could set a hotkey to turn push to talk on and off. Maybe just do that in the future. All right, let me drink some water and then we'll get started.
Da da da. All right, is it fine with push? With just voice activity, or is that probably a bad idea? Voice activity as a setting seems like a bad idea, doesn't it?
I don't know. I think I might use that. Do I use that? I think I might have that turned off.
That's the only other option. I don't know. There's not a just open mic option necessarily, unless I'm missing it.
I think you can turn down the voice activity thing, sensitivity thing, all the way down, and that effectively acts as an open mic. But you could set that to pretty low and probably get the same thing.
I see. Yes, I can. Yes. All right. I'll just set it pretty low.
Okay.
Because it is set to be automatic, and I stopped doing that so that it's much lower. But anyways, how do I sound? Is it good?
Sound good.
We all good, everybody?
We're good. Everyone, before we get started, if you want to give a thumbs up, it helps people find the show. Helps people on YouTube. While we're live, if we just get a bunch of thumbs up, it pushes it up the algorithm real quick. So thank you for doing that. And we're gonna get started. I'm gonna hit. I could just start recording. Okay, you ready, Mike?
Mikey, ready.
All right, 5, 4. The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything happening in the world of video games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
Today's episode, we're going to have news, games, E3. Mike played some new stuff that's coming up that I'm very excited to ask him about. That is kind of E3 related because we just saw a trailer today. I'm going to turn on my NVIDIA Discord or my NVIDIA broadcast.
Kids are screaming.
The kids are already screaming.
We're so excited about IGN Expo. They just aren't
just
over
could
it
not
yet.
handle it. Yes, they're big Brian Altano fans. Absolutely. We'll get into all that. First, though, thank you for joining us. You get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, get us on Twitter at GamesBeat or email the podcast, games+podcast@venturebeat.com. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme song. If you are listening to this on the website player widget, if you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to the audio version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. If you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up. It helps people find the show. If you're listening to the audio version, give it a rate review on whatever app you use, especially if you're on iTunes. It helps people find the show as well. And yeah, I haven't checked recently. I want to see we've moved up the charts there. We've been having a lot of luck on YouTube. we'll have to see how the podcast is doing. It seems like the podcast version is doing pretty
we
well
were
as
at
well.
59. I looked on.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I looked actually the other day on.
Anytime we break through that
today.
top 100, it's like very exciting to me. So
and
that's great.
with these shows every day, we might be climbing. And again, we're quote unquote cannibalizing a lot of views on YouTube too. So very nice, very nice.
Join the Discord link. The link is in the description. But like I said on the last show, we got a vanity URL because we were able to get enough boost. It's discord.gg/GameMess. So if you just put that into your URL bar, take you right to that in Discord.
Why isn't it at discord.gg/Arby's?
That's a very good question because we haven't gotten paid yet, Mike. We can't give it away.
Whose fault is that, Jeff?
I don't want to talk about it. That's not. Listen, I feel very guilty. You've made me feel properly guilty.
Good. That was the point.
Last, you can get into the secret rooms inside the Discord by going to patreon.com/JeffGrubb. That's the best way to do that. Or honestly, when I stream live on Twitch, you can now also do a Twitch thing and join that and get into the secret rooms as well. There's a bunch of ways now. I should probably set that up with YouTube as well. I will eventually. Okay, Mike. We have some news, but I guess like it is E3 week. We are going to be like fully into the real E3 tomorrow, but like I labeled yesterday's podcast as E3 day one, and no one complained about that. Everyone seemed to understand what we're doing here. How are you feeling about this E3 so far?
I mean, yeah, yesterday was fun. Gosh, I'm looking right now. This is ask me, but this is our 200th episode.
Yeah, it's episode 200. Yeah, I forgot to mention it.
Episode 200. Wow, look at that. Man, we've had people watching for the last 30, but that's hey.
Yeah,
how about that?
It's pretty wild. Yeah, we've been doing it for years now. If you think about it, because 200 episodes, we do them about once a week. So yeah, wow.
Like 4 or 5, 4 years or so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, most of them aren't on YouTube. We started doing YouTube again a few months ago, I guess, maybe like last year. But you're right. We've really built up the audience in the last little bit. But I did have some people mention like they've been listening for almost 4 years, and they congratulate us on 200 episodes. So
long timers, thank you. Yeah, man, look at us. We are powerful. All these milestones we're doing lately.
Yeah, there is no excuse to not get that Arby's money. You're right. I get what you're getting at again.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna brag about our numbers. They've been pretty good lately. Like, what the heck? And plus, I live right by where Arby started. It's just it all makes so much sense.
I really would like to see a branded Arby's video of you like touring the first Arby's or whatever. That would be very good.
They had no reverence for it, I'm afraid. So it's like it's not there anymore, but it was incredibly close to me.
Yep. We can get into some news if you want, unless you have any other thoughts on E3, or should we just move into some of this stuff and then start answering some questions?
Yeah, we got a good amount of questions here, so we could talk a little bit about some of these events that we didn't discuss yesterday. So what you got for me, Jeffy?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that we talked about this on the last episode. Elden Ring got announced. That was pretty cool. I guess. Do you have any other new thoughts on Elden Ring, or is it just kind of like, yeah, I can't wait to play it now?
Just that with all the other reasons why. Like maybe it was at Microsoft. It almost seems like it might have been the right idea anyways, right?
Yes.
Because now it got to be by far the biggest thing on that day and for the Summer Game Mess. So I think Bandai Namco is probably feeling very good. I'm sure Jeff Keighley's feeling very good. So I think it worked out very well for them and for Elden Ring fans in the end.
Yeah, I agree with that. It seems like it has dominated the news cycle, just like everyone always says that, like, oh, you should just do things separate so you could dominate the news cycle. And it really has. I think it would have done a good job if it had been among Xbox games. I think it would have been, the excitement wouldn't have been that diminished, but it has definitely. You had some of the embargoes for that. What was your big takeaway from what Koch is doing over there with the Prime Gaming? What is the name of their new publishing thing?
They have a new publishing label called Prime Matter, which is kind of just like enveloping a lot of other studios. And like kind of the big thing there is Payday 3 is coming, 2023. That's on the horizon. Bizarrely, the people who made Homeworld Blackbird, right? Those RTS people, and they're making Homeworld 3. That's happening, but they're also making a RTS for Crossfire, that incredibly popular shooter franchise in Asia, like the same one that Microsoft is trying to get more popular here with Crossfire X. Like it's getting basically the Halo Wars treatment.
Yeah. That is
so that's happening.
That is bizarre. You're right. And when Mike says it's incredibly popular, that game was making $1 billion a year before like most mobile games had ever done that, and it did that consistently for a long time. And again, if you don't know what it is, it's basically just like CS:GO. It's a CS:GO clone, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. But you know, Remedy's making a single player campaign for Crossfire. It is weird that they're trying to make this thing happen, and a real time strategy game is one of the ways they're going, huh?
Right. Yeah. Like whatever it takes. I mean, also, I'm sure they're also thinking they could sell in Asia where it is popular too.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. They're making a new Painkiller game. They had a bunch of new original things to show that some of them looked pretty interesting. So worth looking out to. Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming on Switch.
Yeah,
so
that was wild.
That's something. But yeah, that's that. That's Coach, whatever media.
Yep.
Let's just call it Prime Matter from now on. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be better. They probably changed the name because of us, right? Because we're always.
Matter could also be. Never mind. I was going to say something dirty. Let's not. I thought about it.
All right.
Making good decisions today, Jeff.
I'm proud of you, Mike. You're growing in between the last 24 hours. It's pretty impressive stuff. Then there was you know what? There was that Tribeca thing, and I'm bringing that up because I know that you played Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
I should know because I played it. I played like an hour or two of it. Is it Kena or Kena? I think I'm going to say Kena, and now I'm almost immediately doubting that. But so this is that indie game that Sony's been showing off a good amount. It's also coming out. It's coming for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. And this is basically kind of a Zelda-type action-adventure game. Pretty big Beyond Good and Evil 1 vibes, too, just because your main character has a staff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because it's an indie game, but it looks very good. The people making this, a lot of them used to be like 3D animators. So it's really kind of hitting above its league in that department. But yeah, it's just really a fun, pleasant sort of 3D action-adventure experience. The neat thing here are you have these kind of Pikmin-style creatures following you called the Rot. And when you're fighting, you kind of build up your Rot meter, and then you can send the Rot out to do things like bind an enemy down or go interact with this plant, and now this plant can heal me, and fun things like that. And you can also use them for puzzles, like, oh, hey, Rot, go pick up this cube and bring it over here, it's a bit of a Pikmin vibe, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seemed promising. It seemed like a lot of fun. I think people who are looking forward to that because it looks very good.
Looks very good.
If you're worried that like, oh, it looks good, but like maybe it's going to be like a stinker gameplay wise, it's certainly not a stinker. I need to play more of it to see just how good it is, but there's definitely some promise there.
Louis in chat made me laugh. He's because Nick Turbo says it's Kena, but then Louis says it is Bridge of Spirits.
It's Kena and Kel, Bridge of Spirits.
I hope that most of our audience is old enough to get that reference, Mike.
Oh no!
Otherwise, I'll be very sad.
Somebody posted a picture of like those old like cigarette machines that you like pulled the like the nub on to pull out. I was like, oh, that makes me feel old. I remember this.
Yep, that definitely does. Makes me think of being in like a
I was just
old
doing this
bar with my and
like on the camera. It didn't look great.
People are definitely gonna clip that one. Have fun with that one.
A lot of tugging going on there.
I want to be able to like go on Twitter and type Mike Minotti into like the GIF search and have that come up. So whoever knows how to do that, make that happen.
I feel like I somehow get exponentially even more immature than usual during E3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but here we are.
Well, it's because we're so up in our own heads like so much of the day, like trying to think of all the things we have to get done and right, that anytime it's like time to let your hair down, metaphorically speaking, that we that we really do gonna go a little bit wild. Yeah.
Fuck you, metaphorically speaking. I got that. That took a second.
The proverbial hair, Mike. You know what I mean.
Wow. Let's move on. I'm done. We're fighting.
Anything else from Tribeca? They showed more of Sable. I still don't think it has a release date.
It looks very good. We saw Sable at Summer Game Fest also. Correct. It looks very good. Still looks very good.
There was other stuff like that. There was, I would go back and try to watch the trailers from that show because, a bunch of really cool looking games like you would expect from something like that. And then IGN. We had IGN Fest, IGN Summer Fest. I forget like what the specific names are for all these different things now.
I think it's just IGN Fest, and I would have known if you weren't. Yes, that had to be it. IGN Fest. Chat will yell at us.
Sorry, I ruined it for you. You're so well known for having all these names in your head at all times until I ruin it, Mike. Yeah.
Listen.
That was, you know what? I think I realized watching that show is, if there is like another outlet that has a presentation like this, unless there is the biggest game in the world, we're probably not going to cover most of it because IGN already has the trailer. What are we going to say? Go watch IGN's trailer?
And I mean, not that it was a good showcase. I think most people know what to expect from IGN. IGN Expo, by the way. Thank you, Johnny, Jeremy, and Guts. So yeah, I thought it was good. It was certainly indie heavy, which makes sense. Like, who's going to go to this, right? So people who maybe can't get onto Microsoft or Sony or even Summer Game Fest. So that makes sense. But we saw what Skatebird finally has a release date, August something, I think. I forget. So that's nice. So there's plenty of nice looking things.
Mike Burgess says Sable is September 23rd. So
day one on Game Pass. That's nice. That's a good Game Pass game.
That's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Because that's one of those games like, I don't know. Oh, it looks good, but am I actually going to play it? Well, now I am. Why the hell not?
Yep, definitely going to. Yeah. Something to play on the Xbox and on Game Pass. Yeah. That looks very exciting. Also, they brought out like Japanese Breakfast again. That singer who was very good during the Summer Game Fest, and she like talked about making music for the game. And I'm like, yeah, everything that this game is putting out there in terms of its vibes, I'm picking up. So yeah, Sable looks good. I don't know anything else from IGN though, because I feel like again, like kind of just go watch those trailers if you're interested in them. There was some cool stuff, but nothing to stop the show or anything. Nothing like where it's gonna like, be our thumbnail here on YouTube or something like that. But
they don't have an Elden Ring.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And of course they don't have an Elden Ring. I'm not criticizing them for that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like really hard to get those kinds of things, which is why I think why E3 is still in a pretty good position, because E3 is going to end up just sort of getting these things by default, where these companies are going to show their own games, or they're going to take them to Xbox or Nintendo, and those things will kind of feel like they are more part of E3 than Summer Game Fest.
Wow.
And yeah.
Chat is freaking out about Doki Doki Literature Club, which is something I don't think either I haven't touched that yet.
I intended to always try it. I know it's free. I know people really love that stuff. I'm just not a visual novel guy.
Yeah, I mean, I play. Okay, all right. I'm promising everyone I will play Doki Doki Literature Club when it comes to Switch. I will finally see what that is about.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. That's good looking. And it's Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, right? Like they are making advancements to it, and probably because they're going to sell it. They're selling it on Switch. It's not going to be free on Switch. So
now is this game related to Doki Doki Panic?
No, Mike. No, just shut up. Just shut up.
It's actually called Super Mario Literature Club in the West.
I fucking hate you. I hate that you made that joke. Oh God. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize for Mike Minotti. We'll have to kick him off the show again and get someone new. Get AJ Minotti back again next week.
Darn it. Had a good run.
Yeah,
200 episodes.
200 episodes. Not bad. Not bad. All right. So, should we talk about some of these hacks and then get into questions?
Let's talk about the hacksaws.
The hacksaws. Let's start with CD Projekt Red, who very conveniently dropped this message during the Summer Game Fest when everyone was waiting for Elden Ring. And me and Mike yesterday were like, we could tell what you're doing. You're just trying to hide it. You think you're so clever. Turns out they were pretty clever, because I have not heard it.
Incredibly clever, because no one is talking about it.
Not heard a single person talk about this.
Like, to be clear, like, because I was like, fuck that, I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm overwhelmed and tired.
Yeah, leave us alone, CD Projekt Red. I want to write about you anyhow, even when it's good news.
I know, right? So they got us.
They got us. All right, but we're talking about it here on the podcast, so let's do it. I'm going to read most of this statement. Let's just do it. We would like to share with you a follow-up on the February security breach, which targeted the CD Projekt Group. Today, we have learned new information regarding the breach and now have reason to believe that internal data illegally obtained during the attack is currently being circulated on the internet. We are not able to confirm the exact contents of the data in question, though we believe it may include current/former employee and contractor details, in addition to data related to our games. Furthermore, we cannot confirm whether or not the data involved may have been manipulated or tampered with following the breach. Currently, we are working together with an extensive network of appropriate services, experts, and law enforcement agencies, including the General Police Headquarters of Poland. We have also contacted Interpol and Europol. The information we shared in February with the president of the Personal Data Protection Office has also been updated. We would also like to state that, regardless of the authenticity of the data being circulated, we will do everything in our power to protect the privacy of our employees, as well as all other involved parties. We are committed and prepared to take action against parties sharing the stolen data. So this, this continues to affect the people making the game more than anyone else, right? And really, it shows why you never like pay the ransom. I guess I guess I'm not an expert on that, so I shouldn't say never pay the ransom. But it seems like they paid the ransom to try to get this stuff locked down, and of course, it still got out there, and they still paid that money. So, but yeah, if you're making this game and it's like hard because of security stuff, it seems like it's just going to keep being hard because it's just going to be the kind of thing where you don't know if you're like it's going to be easier than ever to hack this stuff if your personal information is out there, making it easier to do social engineering hacks and stuff like that. It's just a continuing nightmare for them. But it seems like the kind of thing where they're just trying to bury this and move on and continue and keep keep hiding this stuff, not hiding it in plain sight like they obviously tried to do during the Summer Game Fest. I guess any other thoughts on this, or should we just talk about the EA one in conjunction with that?
I'm glad I don't work for CD Projekt Red. I'm glad I live in Poland, Ohio, and not Poland, Poland.
He's not even joking, everybody. He lives in Poland, Ohio. We just doxed you, but I don't think anyone's going to go to Poland, Ohio. Yeah.
You'd be disappointed if you did. The original Arby's isn't even here anymore.
All right. So today, I believe Vice posted a story that I think I guess I don't know how they tracked this down off because I was trying to keep track of stuff while all these other events were happening. But here's the first couple paragraphs. And this is from Waypoint. Hackers steal wealth of data from game giant EA by Joseph Cox. Hackers have broken into gaming giant Electronic Arts, the publisher of Battlefield, FIFA, and The Sims, and stole a wealth of game source code and related internal tools, Motherboard has learned. You have, this is a quote, "You have full capability of exploiting on all EA services," the hackers claimed in various posts on underground hacking forums viewed by Motherboard. A source with access to the forums, some of which are locked from public view, provided Motherboard with screenshots of the messages. In those forum posts, the hackers said that they have taken the source code of FIFA 21, as well as code for its matchmaking server. The hackers have also said that they have obtained source code and tools for the Frostbite engine, which powers a number of EA games, including Battlefield. Other stolen information include proprietary EA frameworks and software development kits, bundles of code that can make game development more streamlined. In all, the hackers say they have 780 gigabytes of data and are advertising it for sale in various underground hacking forums hacking forum posts viewed by Motherboard. So basically the thing here is this is the hackers stealing tools and now trying to sell it to what will likely be people who like make cheats for FIFA and cheats for Battlefield games and stuff like that.
So they didn't steal Frostbite so that they can make their own sweet game with Frostbite.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because like they wouldn't be able to. I mean, you can obviously get some intellectual property that is powering Frostbite and then put that in your own engine. It's very hard to prove that stuff, but I think in general, what's going to happen here is that, people are going to take these tools and then make tools to hack these tools and then sell those hacks as cheats for video games.
I mean, the big thing that EA is concerned about is people using this for FIFA to like get the
right.
cards for whatever that thing is,
right?
Super Team,
Ultimate Team.
The thing that makes the money. Yes, the thing that makes the money.
And I do believe, I don't know if this story goes into it. Basically, they use social engineering to do this hack. The hackers claim that they bought a cookie, like the internet cookie that like tracks your logins.
Thank you
and
for
stuff.
specifying. I thought you meant they bought an actual chocolate chip cookie. Continue.
I feel like there's a chance that like 10% of our audience won't know what I mean when I say internet cookie. So I'm trying to explain it. They bought a cookie illegally off the internet, and that was for an EA employee, and it was already logged in to Slack. And then they went into the EA Slack and complained to the EA tech support and said, "Hey, we got locked up. I lost my phone for my two-factor authentication. Can you send me a 2FA login so I can reset all my stuff?" And the tech support did that, and they were able to get into the EA backend and just get everything, basically. So it wasn't like, they cracked the code and were able to like create a worm and tunnel in through the back door of these servers or anything like that. It was just a social engineering thing, which seems to be the hardest thing to guard against. But yeah, these hacks are obviously they're valuable to hackers, or they wouldn't do them. And I do wonder like what this ends up looking like in a year, and if what kind of headaches it causes for players as well as EA. And I guess we'll see over time.
Arby's has pretty good cookies.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Also, some misinformation in chat here. Everyone's saying that Point, Ohio is the home of Skyline Chili. That's a Cincinnati thing. That's the
Cincinnati.
Opposite side of the state.
Mm-hmm.
We do not eat noodle meat here.
I love Skyline, but I don't get the noodle stuff. I only get the hot dogs, the Coney dogs.
It's not even served here. We don't have Skyline Chili. I'm not dissing it. I've never had it, but it's not really a thing here.
We got it up in Columbus.
Or pizza. It's all pizza here, which is fine by me.
All right, Mike. I have a bunch of questions from the Discord. You have a bunch of super chats. Should we get into them?
I do.
Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. Let's get these super chats. Continuing with the CD Projekt Red thing, Jedi Moss 4 says it's been 6 months and Cyberpunk 2077 still isn't on the PlayStation Store. Is Sony punishing them for the refund fiasco, or is it just putting them through full certification? I don't think it's a certification issue. I think there is a bit of bad blood there because of the refund issue. And, maybe Sony isn't really convinced it's in great enough shape yet. I'm sure at this point it's probably in okay enough shape. I don't know. Yeah. But I think Sony is definitely
it's punitive.
Yeah. They're making an example out of them a little bit.
We were talking about this the other day and we were speculating about the Elden Ring thing, but I think it's pretty clear to anyone who looks that like Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red partner with Microsoft. And so when it came time for Sony to make the decision to pull Cyberpunk from the store, they're like, fuck you. You partner with Microsoft. We don't have any relationships here. Get out of here. And it's like, it's a very similar thing. And I think like it's almost being served as a, as an example of what will happen to you if you partner with Microsoft and you don't come right with when you come with the PlayStation version of the game. So, and again, like who can blame Sony, right? It was like CD Projekt Red, did release versions of those games that were not in great shape, and then also a couple times tried to throw Sony under the bus. So Sony being like, screw you. Why are we gonna have to like deal with your baggage? Like you can't really blame Sony for that stuff. So
no, not at all. Pixelated Pigeon asks me, Mike, what are your hopes for the AEW video game? Also, never acquire LED lighting. I was talking about that a little bit before the show. Yes, I got my AEW All Elite Wrestling shirt on now. Too sweet, whoop, whoop, and all that. Man, my big hope is that the PR will respond to my emails. I can't get a hold of those people. I know they have nothing to say, but just like a hello, I'm just trying to do a little handshake here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pretty powerful video game journalist, and I also love AEW, right? So it just seems like a match made in heaven, but I won't return my calls. They're hot-shotting me a little bit. I think what everybody wants, and what I pretty much want also, is them to basically make like those Nintendo 64 wrestling games, but with updated graphics and the AEW roster, right? That's basically all we want. We want WWF No Mercy with their roster and slightly better graphics. Honestly, if they had just gone full retro and made it look like a Nintendo 64 game, I would have also liked that. We already know that isn't the case, but that's it. That's what I want. I don't even need, like, I know it's such a big thing with all these wrestling games now, like all of like incredible customization, like creator wrestlers and stuff. If they didn't want to do that in the first game, just so they could really focus on the gameplay, I'd be good with that even. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're gonna feel like you have to do that stuff, and maybe it's gonna hurt them. I don't know, but I'm excited to see more there. Louis Patelli asks, will we get any Star Wars gaming related announcements this weekend besides the Fallen Order next gen patch from today?
I think Ubisoft is working on a Star Wars game. Will they show anything from that? Probably not. But I honestly think most of the Star Wars projects are in that place where it's a bit too early for anyone to start talking about them. The ink's probably still drying on any agreement with Lucasfilm. The game that's probably closest to coming out is Jedi Fallen Order 2, and we will not hear about that this year. We'll start hearing about Jedi Fallen Order 2 next year. And so I guess there's a possibility. There's always the possibility that there's some deals happening that we have no idea about that could surprise us, and that would be very cool. There are smaller things happening. I think isn't like Zynga or something making a a Star Wars game that's coming to consoles. Maybe we'll hear about something like that or something.
But I don't know that. I feel like that's not in the spirit of what they're hoping for.
I think yes, I agree. Lego Star Wars is probably something we'll hear about from somewhere at this point. So hopefully.
Erie D. Senna Sebastio asks, Xbox bought more studios? You want to talk about this, Jeff? This has been a hot topic. You talked about this a bit on the Game Mess, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say that it seems like, there's a lot of rumors out there. Nothing that I've been able to confirm. I think that I think it's heated up a lot in the past week, which to me sounds like Microsoft is trying to rush it to get into E3. But, I know that like as recently as 10 days ago, they were not thinking about a lot of acquisitions, or acquisitions were not in active talks. So it seems like something like just like really has kicked them in the butt and made them feel like they want to get this stuff done. And the partners that they are potentially talking to make a lot of sense in some regards. One of the studios is making a $100 million game, and I mean many of the studios are making like.
I can tell that you're afraid. You're afraid to say the name of the studios. I've been hearing them just as everyone else.
Everywhere.
Do you want me to say the name?
Yeah, let's go ahead. What have you heard? I want to hear what you've heard. And then
people are saying IO Interactive, right? Crytek and Avalanche are the three I hear people saying.
Yeah, now there's some other ones out there as well. Now apparently like two more on top of that. So this is why it just seems pretty wild that there's so much smoke there. I guess the other two would be like NetherRealm and Rocksteady, I guess.
NetherRealm and so just straight up splitting off from WB.
Yeah.
WB Discovery.
Yeah. I think that all the things that we've always said about this topic still hold true, where Microsoft has a lot of money in the bank. That money is just burning a hole in their pocket. It's going to be worth less next year because of inflation and taxes and all kinds of other stuff. They want to spend this money. So it all kind of lines up still. It's just a matter of getting the deals done and meeting the price. And these companies are going to say, hey, we're worth a lot of money right now, so pay a high price for us, and they will.
IO would have to finish that James Bond game as a multi-platform thing, though.
I would think
they're going to be stuck on that for a while. But again, we've seen them make these deals with people kind of stuck in other deals before, so who knows?
And IO, I think IO was spinning up multiple teams though, right? Because they're doing James Bond, but they're also doing this game for Xbox, that connected Project Dragon game that is like going to be like kind of like a behind the back camera perspective, Diablo sort of thing, Destiny sort of thing. So and that was always going to be a huge thing. So like IO already has this relationship with Microsoft, and so that's why I think it does line up for some people. But also it's like, maybe I always thought Microsoft would want to like just finish these games and get them done. So I think like one of the things, one of the reasons people are getting really heated about this is Xbox tweeted like, we have more than 23 studios working on games. And everyone's like, more than 23? That means you've acquired stuff. And I don't think that necessarily is what that has to mean, because they do have more than 23 studios working on first-party Xbox games, because they have first-party global publishing deals with developers they don't own, like Avalanche. So, yeah, I think that we'll have to see what this means, and if it's happening at E3, we're gonna know by Sunday. So yeah, we'll find out soon.
Real quick, WienerBeat Decides did send a super chat and forgot to send his message, and then he sent it separately. It was some kind of it was about another leak. I think it was a geopolitical one, so I have no comment there. But thank you, WienerBeat Decides. We also got a super chat with no comment from A Foundation of Inner Peace, which is about the opposite from WienerBeat Decides as you can get. So thank you, A Foundation of Inner Peace.
Thank you, Peace, and WienerBeat Decides. Yep.
Thank you equally. From Pillar to Post, do you guys think that the rumored 2D Zelda could be a Link to the Past remake? Mike, can you give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair woo? Woo!
oh, he's styling and profiling. Oh, I didn't know he would do both. I didn't know he would style and profile.
That's right. I do a flare flop if I wasn't like old and tired. I'll just right now drop right now. All right.
Chad, appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm glad. Is a 2D Zelda rumor really that significant? Is there any smoke there? That just sounds like wishful thinking to me.
It sounds like wishful thinking to me. But I've thought it as well. Like, hey, maybe we could get another a thing from Grezzo that's like a follow-up to Link's Awakening. But that was always just us speculating and being hopeful, like you said.
Mm-hmm. I'd be surprised if it was a remake of Link to the Past, since one that's already just on Switch
Right.
and is good. And like they talked before about how they wanted to remake Link to the Past, and then that just turned into a Link Between Worlds anyway. So
Right.
I don't know if they're going to try to do that again necessarily. So
I feel like honestly, for Link to the Past, the easiest thing in the world is just take the same game with the same graphics and the same controls and just make it like widescreen. That's all you have to do. Just make it 16:9 in HD. Maybe up-res all of the graphics so that it like looks good in HD, and that's
the
it.
Criterion Collection version.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all they would have to do. Would be, and do that with Super Metroid as well. That would be fantastic.
Well, that's all I hope we're basically getting with like Final Fantasy VI, if it's going to be in this collection thing. Like, just give me how the game looked with the Game Boy Advance like additions and translation and bug fixes, and that's all I need. I don't need that to look like the Dragon Quest III remake. From Pillar to Post also says Jeff Grubb, he has the meats. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Pablo L says nothing says video games like Koch Media. Bring on Procter and Gamble Showcase. Kyle Martin's. Oh, sorry, Jeff. You had something to say
I was gonna say I think they were making a reference to like Koch being like Koch Media and Coke and the Koch brothers and how they are a big conglomerate here in the United States. But go on, Mike. Read the next super chat. Thank you for that one.
Well, Kyle Moore has a very important question. He's asking, "What's the word on the Arby sponsorship?" Well, we're regrouping. We're regrouping because Jeff messed it up.
Yep, I blew it.
So we're gonna try to reach out to them again soon, and I have some backup plans. If that doesn't work, I may be asking everybody to go to Arby's and take a picture of them with their food, and then we'll make a collage, and we'll write GamesBeat Decides Community Loves Arby's, and then we'll send that to them. You laugh. These are great ideas.
Yeah, I'm okay. No, I'm all for it. We'll have to see.
Yeah, but let's say if our next message doesn't get through to them at all, which I'm hopeful for, but I'm not giving up. I'll tell you what, if you guys think this is a joke, and again, it's funny like a joke, but it's not a joke.
But it's dead serious. Yeah, of course.
Yes. Black Shogun, at least I think it's Black Shogun, BLK Shogun. I assume that means black. Jeff Grubb, did Little Devil Inside take everyone's money and run?
I don't know.
Who's Little Devil Inside?
I don't know. You're that's a good question. Little Devil Inside, was it?
Is this a Kickstarter thing? Is this a Kickstarter thing? Little Devil Inside is a video game.
I mean, they updated in 2020 for the PlayStation thing. Like, if PlayStation is at all partnering with them, I would imagine it's going to come out eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like an indie game thing. These can take a while. I don't think they took anyone's money and ran. There's nowhere to run to anymore. Where'd you go?
Mike will find you. He will style and profile.
Find you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sable was like, I think I first heard about Sable in like 2016. I played Tunic in 2018, and we didn't hear about it again until this year. This happens with indie games all the time. So yeah, it's not abnormal. All right, Mike, what do we have next?
Stephen Hart. I assume not related to Bret Hart or any of the other famous Harts. Yeah. I'm in a wrestling mood today, I guess. We were talking about Cyberpunk and like, is it okay yet? He says the PC port of Cyberpunk is Skyrim bug yet worse. And I believe that. I'm sure it still has bugs. I mean, most of these big Western RPGs do, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's not acceptable for some people again.
I mean, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart has bugs. Like, people have been telling me how it's crashing on them after the day one patch. So yeah. Big games are buggy these days.
When games are very good, though, we can be more forgiving of that stuff, huh?
I am. Yep.
Benji Nazo, I think I'm saying that right. Hi, guys. Do we know if Retro Studios has several projects ongoing, or is it just Metroid Prime 4? I almost kind of hope it's just Metroid Prime 4.
I would imagine it's just Metroid Prime 4. Like, they want to...
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like they stopped working on whatever they were working on before this, and just everyone... started working on Metroid Prime 4.
So before this, they had been doing the Donkey Kong Country games, and
but there was a long time between Tropical Freeze and when they started working on Prime 4.
Yes. Well, maybe they were doing something else, or we know that they've also have helped out with Mario Kart, right? So maybe they're not doing either of those things now. The rumor is that the Mario Odyssey team is that's a big jug of water. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's full gallon. Yeah, it's got motivational words on it. It says.
You can drink me.
My last one at 9 p.m. What a champ. Great drinking. See you tomorrow. So it's a very encouraging bottle.
You're drinking a healthy jug of water. Well, I have my freaking like 9% IPA. Great.
Yeah, you should feel shame. Absolutely.
Well,
I hope you do.
Yeah, I do. Good. So, okay. Yeah, that's that about Metroid Prime 4. I think they're probably just working that. I hope they are.
Yep. Same.
Rafiq145, what do you think about Xbox's chances to surpass PlayStation in the gaming market this gen or the next one? And when will Kojima reveal its next game? For Kojima, maybe Game Awards.
Yeah, or Tokyo Game Show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, right now he's probably going to promote that director's cut of Death Stranding for a bit. Xbox's chances to surpass PlayStation in the gaming market this gen. I mean, yeah, it could. I mean, they're not that far behind, are they? How far are they behind?
I mean, I guess it depends on what metric you're talking about. Like, are we talking about like in terms of console sales? I don't think there's very good chance of them selling more Xboxes than PlayStation this generation. But because the problem is the other territories, like Europe is very much into PlayStation, and then Japan is as well. And there's some territories that, like Brazil, that might prefer Xbox a little bit. I'm not sure about that. I think I'm pulling that on my ass. But even those territories that might do that, they're like more emerging, and consoles are expensive there. And so yeah, I think that there is a very good chance by the end of this generation, no one's really talking about like, oh, there are more PlayStations than Xboxes. Everyone's kind of like, oh, I have a PlayStation, but then I also have Game Pass, and I am just playing it on my TV or whatever, and I've found other ways to enjoy that, or I got a cheap Xbox One Series S, something like that, and it just not having Game Pass won't be an option. Because like I was like making a list earlier, because we're getting prepared for E3, and I'm like, okay, so what is next year's probably going to be Starfield and Forza Motorsport 8 and stuff like the 1.0 version of Grounded. But then like 2023 is kind of seems like the timing's going to be Avowed and Fable and Perfect Dark and all these other games that like all might come out at the same time. And that's going to be huge. And I think at that point, people are going to be like, it's kind of not an option to not have an Xbox if I'm going to miss out on all these things, or at least a PC or whatever. So that's the direction they're headed. And that's what they want people to be thinking about. And, I mean, beating PlayStation is sort of a secondary behind in the back of their head goal that they're not really necessarily worried about.
Nintenderic, it's a fun name, Nintenderic. Did you see the Brushy Reddit leak? Thoughts? I did not see this. Did you see a Brushy Reddit leak? I assume
No.
Brushy is a frequent leaker, as yourself is.
No, I did not. Oh yeah, I think I recognize the name now, but I did not see it. So if anyone wants to put it in chat or whatever, I'll try to track it down.
Yeah, Brushy. The Brush. I'm curious. What is Brushy leaking? Carmos, 1970. Hi guys, good show. Thank you to you both. How long till Game Pass goes up in price? I am guessing 2 years minimum till all the studios are in full swing, and he's guessing it'll go up to $17 a month. What do you think, Jeff?
The question was about a price increase for Xbox Game Pass.
Yes. How long till it goes up in price?
A long
He's
time.
guessing 2 years. A long time. He's guessing 2 years minimum. You think more than that?
I think at least 2 years. That sounds about right. But it's going to come down to whether or not they. It's going to be after 2023. So we're going to be well beyond the 2 year period at that point. So I think that's right. And $17 seems about right. But it's going to greatly depend on the quality of those exclusives that year. So if stuff like Perfect Dark comes out and it's great, and if stuff like Avowed comes out and it's great, and all these other things, like they could get away with raising it $2, but I mean it's not going to be a concern for quite some time.
Jeremy G just says keep up the good work. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank
Louis
you.
Patelli just joined the Patreon. Hey, thanks, Louis. I think the work that you guys do, and I am happy to support it. Looking forward to participating in the Game Mess 24/7. That's right, the Game Mess never ends.
It
right,
doesn't
Jeff?
have to end. It doesn't have to end. Yeah, forever and ever. Welcome. Thank you, man.
Daniel Kumba, we were talking about what Retro's working on. He said, wasn't there a rumored Star Fox Grand Prix by Retro? And that was the rumor, and it never materialized. So either it's still happening, which I doubt, 2, it never existed, or 3, it got canceled so that they could work on Metroid Prime 4 instead.
Yeah.
Which one of those do you think is what happened, Jeff?
I don't know. That Star Fox Grand Prix thing, I've heard both ways. Some people say it was like a deliberate leak to find out the source of the leaks and stuff like that. Other people say it was real, and other people say it wasn't a fake leak, but it also wasn't real. And I guess I was not really in that scene at that time, so I have no insight. And I've asked people, and I never got any clear answers from anybody. So I have no good idea about what Retro was working on before.
It sounds like a game that we will not be playing.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Mr. Nix.
I think you're right.
this is our last super chat for now. Thank you, everybody. Okay. If you want to send more, we will get to them before the show ends. But Mr. Nix says, any comments on the Thanksgiving picture on Xbox's YouTube channel from a fellow Youngstowner? Hello. We have a few Youngstown fans. How nice.
What was the question? I'm sorry. I'm trying to find that brushy leak.
I was about to say, you seemed awfully distracted the last couple ones, Jeff.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You think that you think you can multitask? That's your problem. You think you can multitask? You cannot.
No, I cannot.
You're awful at it.
Nope,
he's asking about that Thanksgiving picture on Xbox's YouTube channel. You know the one. I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can't. I'm having trouble recalling it. What is the picture?
It's like that famous thing with the person presenting the turkey, but there's a bunch of different like Bethesda. I think it's BJ Blazkowicz
and then Master Chief. I remember now. Yes, thank you.
I don't know if there was. I don't know if I believe there's any significance to
I don't either. I don't think so either. I think they've done a lot of that kind of stuff, and a lot of it's just I think they are working with artists and ask them to do cool stuff, and then they're posting it on their page. I think that's the end of it. So I found the brushy thing.
There's this one guy in chat who he comes into our show and he can't, only to yell at us for having Sony bias.
Yes.
I think he means like that we like Sony, which is hilarious because everyone else says the opposite. But he comes in like every time just to scream this at us.
I kind of like having him here because it feels like it kind of feels like a nice counterweight. I'm like, it's George Foreman. I'm like, George.
I was trying not to name it, but George is okay by us.
George is okay with me.
I think he hates us.
I think so too.
Will towards Georgie.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
He thinks we have any bias towards Sony. Everyone
it's nice. It brings a smile every time I see him. And then Nick Turbo is always like, he always does hashtag Sony bias too, like whatever he does. And I'm like, oh, yep.
It's very formulaic. Like he never elaborates or expands. But George Foreman could be like a mascot. Anyways, what about the brushy leak? Tell me about this.
At the end of he does a list of games that he expects to see at E3, that they expect to see at E3, and at the very end it says, of course, take it with a grain of salt, because these are predictions. Okay, if this is just his predictions, I don't know what to say. But I will say that a lot of the games that he has listed here are all kind of stuff that I would expect to see as well.
Is this the guy who got everybody thinking that we are going to see the Indiana Jones game from Bethesda after all the C3? Because I saw that going around. No, I think
Tom Warren from The Verge tweeted a GIF of Indiana Jones, which would be a very wild thing if we saw anything from Indiana Jones this soon. But all right, whatever. We'll see.
So you're saying that you doubt it. I just want to get it out there. I'm putting it on the record.
I doubt it, yes.
Mr. Super Cautious these days, which you should be because people are mean. But I am making you say it. You do not expect Indiana Jones.
I do not expect Indiana Jones, but I guess they could tease it some more. Like, what are they going to show? They just started working on it.
What are you going to do? A second, vague CG trailer with Indy's hat?
Yeah.
You can't have much to show.
Show the Blockbuster exclusive Nintendo 64 version. Yeah.
You know what you can do? You can do one of those things where it's like the documentary of the people at their computer stations, and you see the wireframe model.
Right, and you say, Jones, "Come work on our stuff." Right. Yes.
And the worker talking about how excited they are.
Yeah, and say, "Hey, if you want to work on this game, come apply at Bethesda or whatever." Yeah, totally.
Rafik 145. What money is DZD? DZD. Is that Disney dollars?
Yes, Mike. It's Disney dollars.
I hope so, because he gave us a bunch of Disney dollars, if that's true. Hey, he asks, will Xbox announce a big acquisition this year? And it's beginning to look like they are, isn't it?
It does look that way.
They are. Maybe even in a couple of days, apparently.
Yep, maybe. I think so. But I was surprised a few days ago because what I had heard is there wouldn't be acquisitions announced at E3. But I won't be surprised if it happens a few weeks later. And at this point, honestly, with them rushing it, I won't be surprised if we hear about it at E3.
Well, why don't we get to these Patreon questions?
Okay, yeah. Actually, we're going to take a quick break, everybody.
Discord. Oh, yeah.
And when we get back from that, we will answer some of your questions. Okay. Hey, YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for watching live. Mike, do you have to go to the bathroom or anything, or are we still good? You want to just get through these questions?
I think I'm all right. Let's just go. Let's
go.
All
right.
All right.
Everybody who's watching, if you just want to give us a quick thumbs up, we got 225 likes on YouTube. If you can give us some more, that would really help people find the show. We're doing really well. But we'll get back to the episode right now. Let me see here. Let me organize these questions real quick. We got a question from the man himself, Indiana Jones. So we can start there.
Oh, well, I'm very excited to answer that.
Okay. Yeah, we got a couple, so let's get to it. Okay, we're back, and we have a bunch of questions from the Discord. Let's start here with Indiana Jones asking, "Hi, Jeff," and he spells it with a G, and Mike. Will I be at the Xbox conference, and who do you think will be my voice actor?
Oh, I know. I thought I know who's going to be his voice actor.
Yeah, didn't you guys have him on your show?
Yeah, we just had him on our show. Yeah, the AJ Locascio, who did he became kind of a known thing when he became the voice of Marty McFly for those Telltale Back to the Future games. But he's the voice double for Harrison Ford and just about everything these days. So
yeah, I think
he does a great job.
I think they'll get Mark Hamill to do it. They're going to get Mark Hamill to do Indiana Jones.
But check out 90s Disney, 90s Disney Karma, 90s Disney Podcast. We interviewed him about, because he loves Disney in general.
And it was a good interview. I liked that episode a lot.
Thank you. I bet it would be AJ. I bet it's going to be AJ.
I agree.
Not my brother, AJ.
No.
Although those two have like a budding friendship going on now.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry.
AJs.
I don't think Indiana Jones is going to be there in any really huge way. If anything, it's like what Mike said, and it's going to be people working on computers. You'll see some concept art over their shoulder, and they'll be like, hey, we're hiring. You should come work for us. And that'll be the most you'll see. All right, so let's get rid of that. We have a question here from one Nick Turbo, who asks, Jeff, what does your wife tell people when they ask what her husband does for a living? I think she says I'm a writer. I think she says
Powerful
I'm a
gamer tweeter.
She does tell people like I write about games and all that stuff, and she doesn't, because like she goes, she's a teacher, and she tells like her friends there what I do, but also she says like he's also home full time with the kids, and then all the teachers are like, oh my god, how does he do that? He works full time and he has the kids, so everyone's really impressed. So yeah, they don't know that I'm like losing my mind and my hair's all going gray, and they're always screaming at me, and I'm always just like, shut the hell up and get back upstairs. They don't know that part of it, but yeah.
The bank asked me what I did recently because I had to open up some kind of an account, and I was like, writer. and then I realized that was maybe a bad thing to say because they thought I was self-employed and probably didn't make any money. So I was like, I'm a tech writer.
Yeah.
I work for a company in San Francisco.
Yes, that helps. That always
something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Something
always
exotic.
Helps. Yeah,
something exotic. Hey, we got super chat real quick.
Do it, please.
Hendo. We'd love to have you all on the pod. Oh, he has a podcast. Also, any chance Xbox talks about haptic controller? I don't think they're gonna get into haptics. Haptics. I mean, yeah, into haptics.
I wonder. I don't think so.
I mean, it hasn't really been a slam dunk for Sony. I loved it, but a lot of people kind of aren't into it. It seems like. Right?
Well, I mean, a lot of people turn it off. I think it's like the 3DS. Like I never turn off the 3D, but you talk to most people, and a lot of people turn it off. I don't think it's actually quite that bad. Most people use the haptics on the DualSense, absolutely, but there are some people who turn it off and don't use it and don't want it. I think you're right that it's not enough of a slam dunk for Microsoft to feel like they have to immediately backpedal and redo another controller like a DualShock situation.
We got another super chat. Let's do this one. Any information on Wolfenstein 3? Todd Howard, presumably, is the producer of Jones, so that game wouldn't be past pre-production. So mid 2022 makes sense for Wolfenstein.
I hope so.
Yeah,
but I don't think so.
I don't think so. If we don't hear about it at this E3, then it's like how much time are you gonna have to announce it before it can come out before Indiana Jones? So I'm not. I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Yeah, and again, as far as I know, like it's not on the slate for this year or next year. So
yeah, let me say this. I think Jeff knows what Microsoft is up to. Jeff has shown me things.
Yeah,
let's just say that. I think Jeff knows what Microsoft. If Jeff says he's not expecting it at this point, I am really not expecting it from Microsoft.
Yeah, and I'm just as sad as you are about that. Everybody's. I hope. That
Jeff loves Wolfenstein.
I love
Jeff
Wolfenstein.
loves Wolfenstein more than anyone I know.
Yes,
he loves it as much as he hates Sony.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So you can really get a good idea there. He really illustrated it there for you, everybody. Cool Francis 19 asks, what are the chances we see Mario plus Rabbids 2 this weekend? Also, what kind of surprises can we expect from the Xbox show and Nintendo? Lastly, I hope Jeff is doing better. Thank you. I have not had a real chance to recover, so my earache is still coming every time I don't take any aspirin, and it hurts, but anytime I take painkiller, it's fine. So I'm just going to do that through this weekend and go to the doctor on early next week, I think. What are the chances we see Mario plus Rabbids 2 this weekend? I think it's pretty good. I have my hopes set very high for that. I am expecting it.
Pretty darn good. I'm expecting it to at this point. Again, based off of, we don't have any insider information on that one. Just from what we're hearing from other people, we are expecting that one.
Exactly. And then what kind of surprises can we expect from the Xbox show and Nintendo? I think Nintendo could surprise us with something out of nowhere. I think the Xbox show is going to have to surprise us with the quality of the execution of Avowed, Omen, and Halo and Starfield. And and they could do that. Like everyone at a certain point knew Elden Ring was going to be in the Summer Game Fest show, right? Like everyone knew Elden Ring was going to be there. That's why everyone was watching. And Jeff Keighley didn't do a good job of hiding it because he wanted people to watch. And then yet when we saw it, it was still felt almost surprising because it was so well done. It was so hype. They could do that still, and that could be where the surprise comes from.
There are certain games that are such big, like Breath of the Wild 2. We all expect to see Breath of the Wild 2, but we will all still be excited when it shows up because there's always the chance it doesn't, and we're all very afraid of that. So we're still very happy when we do actually see these things.
Slippery Fishes asks, now that Elden Ring has been revealed, what are the odds we will see the previous trailer pop up soon? And will FromSoft run an online Aloha, or I think you see alpha, an online alpha or beta test like they have for Dark Souls 2 and 3? So they did do.
They did do those.
I guess so. You know what?
Maybe
I do remember that now because people got the torches, and then the torches didn't work the same way in the final game, and people complained about that. I remember that now. That previous trailer, I think, was just always an internal trailer, so I don't think we're going to see it. I'm going to sneeze, Mike.
Oh, ew, gross. Yeah, so was that the end of that question? Because I can tell you about a super chat. All right, we just got in from Victor Marinez. Are we going to get a look at Hellblade 2 gameplay? I need some dark fantasy joy. Isn't Elden Ring enough dark fantasy joy for your dark fantasy heart? But no, Jeff, Hellblade 2 gameplay, is that happening at Microsoft?
I will definitely not Hellblade 2 gameplay. Definitely not. There was some thinking that they would put a trailer in there with like some CG, and then I think they pulled it because they didn't want to show CG trailer again. So next time you see it, it probably will be gameplay, but it's not ready now.
Okay.
Let's see, from Ray Mogos. Happy Friday, fellas. E3 is upon us all. I just wanted to say congratulations on the continued success of the podcast. Thank you so much, Ray.
Now let's very cool and successful. Thank you.
Now let's make the internet hate you. You must buy one game, rent one game goes away forever. Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne.
Oh, this is interesting because I'm not a giant From Software fan. And what's interesting is I've played much more Sekiro and Bloodborne than any of the Dark Souls games.
Same.
So I haven't beaten Sekiro, and I did like it. So I want to play more of it, so I'll buy that. I played through Bloodborne and liked it, but I feel like not as much as everyone else. So I'll rent that. And I don't know why I'm not more interested in Dark Souls and have never really been, but I'll if people didn't even like Dark Souls 3 that much compared to the other ones, right? Like I'm not making that up. So. That was a thing. Or it's two, like I know one of them is a black sheep.
I think this is a back and forth among the community. There are, I think, Dark Souls fans who really think Dark Souls 2, it was a disappointment. And then some people who really defend Dark Souls 2. But I think Dark Souls 3 is generally more like than Dark Souls 2.
Okay. So 2 is the bad one. People say 2 is the one people don't like. All right, then. Right. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get to 3, but for now I'm throwing it. Maybe I won't because I'm throwing it away. I'm throwing it into the garbage forever. Goodbye.
Mine. I was thinking along your lines, but I think now I'm going to buy Bloodborne because I really love Sekiro and I did beat it. So I'll put that in rent because I'll play it again. But Bloodborne is one where I started and then bounced off. And I feel like now if I go back to it, I would, especially if it gets any sort of 60 frames per second update, I will definitely give it another shot. But I feel like if I go back to it at that point, I'm really gonna get into it and have my time with that game. And then I'm gonna say Dark Souls 3 go away forever into the Phantom Zone.
I liked Bloodborne, but it's sometimes you play a game and you like it and it didn't really stick with you in any significant way. I guess I had a little bit of that. Hey, real quick, we had another super chat from Danimus who's just saying, love the show and glad I could catch one of these live. Good luck with the E3 rush. Thank you.
Thank you
Dan,
so much.
Can I call you Dan? Thank you very much.
Really appreciate those messages, everybody. We got one from Oda, who also includes their name here as Ladder. And Oda is the person that's very obsessed with the idea of ladders in Starfield in our Discord. So that's where that comes from. Oh, the question is about ladders. Do you love ladders in video games? And in your opinion, which game has the best ladder gameplay? Ladder Gang says hi.
That's easy.
Oh, yeah, go for it. I want to hear it.
Well, Metal Gear Solid 3 had the best ladder of all time, right? Like that's a known quantity, right? You're going up that, and for a while, it's just first you're like, oh, we're going up a ladder. Then you're like, oh, this is a really long ladder, and then the theme starts playing, but it's the vocal theme without the background music, and like, oh, this is like suddenly for some reason going up this ladder is the best thing I ever did in a video game. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 has the best ladder gameplay of all time.
I'll say another Kojima joint, that the Death Stranding ladders, the ones you carry on your back and then they just shoot up and then you can climb up, like climb over
good, huh?
gaps. They were very good.
For some reason, is blob? You can turn your blob into a ladder.
Or how about Karnov? Karnov, that ladder power up you got. Do you remember playing Karnov? I feel like I'm getting a blank stare from you.
Karnov. I never played. I always have a blank stare. But wow, whoa! I didn't know you liked Karnov that much. I'm sorry.
I'm a big Karnov stan.
Apparently.
Anyone in chat remember Karnov? It's an old game, and I played it at a friend's house who was Jehovah's Witness, and I don't know why that's important to the story, but for some reason it's the only thing I remember about him. And then for years I was trying to figure out what that game was, and it took me a really long time. And then I don't know, like 10 years ago, I learned it was Karnov, and I've been obsessed with it ever since.
Hey, Rafik145 has sent us more Disney dollars.
Sorry, I'm not
Do you
old.
think Halo Infinite will get a 90+ on Metacritic?
No.
No. I mean, look, Ratchet & Clank didn't even get a 90+,
Exactly.
and that might be like the best reviewed game this year. So I don't think so. I think enough people are going to be, even if it is like a very good Halo game, enough people are going to be cynical just about that. RDX Son of a Fett asks, who do you think the 3 new Xbox acquisitions are going to be? Matt Booty, ZeniMax, or someone new?
Say it again.
Going to be under. I see. I misunderstood.
Oh,
who are
okay.
the new acquisitions going to be under? Are they going to be under Matt Booty? Are they going to be under ZeniMax or someone new? I mean, don't they all kind of have some? I mean, you know more about this than me. I'll let you answer.
I think that that's a good question. I think that probably under Matt Booty. I know he's pretty spread thin, but I think the answer there is just hire more people under Matt Booty at that point.
Sure.
All right, let's see here. Let's get some Karnov action here.
Like too much butter spread over too much booty.
Yes. Oh my god, I think about that saying all the time.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a Data East game.
Yes, Karnov, and then it's an arcade game. And hang on, let me
I didn't realize you were still stuck on Karnov.
I'm still stuck on Karnov. Yeah, like you get like little ladder power-ups.
Strongman?
Basically, yeah. And you remember, search Karnov ladder. I'm gonna do that. Let's see here.
Oh my god, I
Look,
didn't realize.
There's a custom Karnov action figure, and he has a ladder. Look at it right here. This is fantastic. It's just a great game.
How much do you like Karnov?
I think at this point I like the idea of Karnov more than I actually like Karnov.
Fair enough. I understand.
Okay,
that.
I'm sorry about that, everybody. But
all right, get this off my screen.
I will add an image of Karnov in the podcast description if people listening to this are
worried about.
There are going to be people who are going to be like, "What in the fuck?" People in chat are like, "What are you talking about, Jeff?" So I'm sure the podcast listeners are going to be like, "God damn it, Jeff."
There are calls to end the podcast. I don't think they mean
episode 200 was a good run.
I think they mean forever.
Okay. From Kiji, are there any talks / rumors / info about any Marvel or DC games that aren't the ones in current rotation, like Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, the NetherRealm game, Guardians of the Galaxy? Any small mentions that flew under the radar? I mean,
there's
think
that DC Girls game, right?
Right.
Who's
yeah.
that?
I don't think that was in the spirit of the answer of this for this one.
I'm just saying, I'm smart and I know about video games. So,
I can't remember any specifics right now, but for some reason I want to say that I've heard that there are, but I don't know where that's coming from. I'm sorry.
There's the whole NetherRealm thing, and what are they doing next?
Yeah.
And we've been hearing everything from just DC to just Marvel to maybe the both of them.
Right.
And we don't know. Maybe
we'll hear at
E3,
for sure.
And maybe we'll hear at DC Fandom. We don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll hear more about Marvel games for sure.
And there's the Marvel XCOM thing that we
exactly. We're getting stuff like that. I think we're going to get more stuff, and I think Disney is very, very we need to have way more games than we've had, and I think we're going to see that with Star Wars. But I don't think Marvel's going to sit back either. All right, another one from Ray Mogos. Shrimp are decapod crustaceans with elongated bodies and a primarily swimming mode of locomotion. Most commonly, Charidia and Dendrobranchiata. We eating Sunday. Mike, what is going on with shrimp? There are a bunch of people posted shrimp in our chat and stuff.
Yes, I was also wondering about what's going on with the shrimp thing. There's a shrimp inside joke that we are not a part of.
Okay.
Which makes me proud of the community in a way that they're excluding us from stuff that
I know.
Our community is so big now, they don't need us to be a part of all of the little hijinks.
They've grown beyond us, and you're right. I'm more proud than anything. Absolutely.
Yes.
Jimmy DeBra asks, since Resident Evil Village just released, is the only Resident Evil news expected at Capcom's show going to be DLC, or will they announce something like the rumored Resident Evil 4 remake? I think we're leaning towards it being that Switch game, that Resident Evil Outrage.
Yeah. They might do like the Monster Hunter Rise of Resident Evil is a possibility, and Resident Evil 4 remake is also a possibility.
Yes.
Like at this point, Resident Evil is so important to Capcom. It's hard to imagine they don't have something Resident Evil to show, because it's just been, they've had so much Resident Evil the last few years, and no one has gotten sick of it yet.
Yeah, shrimpified. All right, the chat's gone wild with shrimp.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. I know what it is. It's because your Typhoon thing is now turned into shrimp because it looks like the same thing. It's an extension of Typhoon.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well done, chat. From Cool Francis 19, what kind of surprises do you think Xbox or Ubisoft could have this weekend? Plus, do you guys think Forza Horizon 5 will be the first true showpiece for the Series X? No. Also, what direction do you guys think Ubisoft takes the next entry in the Mario Rabbids series? Lastly, I hope Jeff is feeling better. Thank you so much for saying that.
I mean, I thought that Mario Rabbids would kind of be their surprise. I think we'll be surprised that we're going to actually see the Avatar game. That would be surprising because I don't think people are expecting to. But man, Mario Rabbids, I hope they better have Wario and Waluigi in it. I'll just say that's it. I just want Wario and Waluigi in there.
Yes. Like almost the stars of the show, honestly.
Yeah. Could I just say, do we actually need the Rabbids in this game anymore?
No, but it's Ubisoft making it and publishing it. So.
I mean, have they even made a Rabbids game since Mario plus Rabbids? Like,
I don't know.
Who cares? Right?
No, you're right. Imagine if it was like Mario plus Pikmin, and the Pikmin were in the same roles as the Rabbids. They could do something like that, but it's Ubisoft is making it, so like they're gonna like put their own IP in it.
They're gonna want to push. They want to put their IP in it. Like even then, like I wish they had something else. I mean, gosh, I wish it could just be Rayman, but
yeah, that'd be
maybe beyond.
Really
beyond. Oh, they gotta hype up all those Beyond Good and Evil 2 characters. We're definitely gonna see someday.
Forza Horizon 5 is still being made as a cross-gen game. The scope is specifically that they are reworking the Forza franchise with Motorsport 8, and that's when they will really be getting into showpiece territory. Forza Horizon 5 is like the last hurrah for Xbox One Forza Horizon games. From Master God Sense, what is Jade Raymond doing? I don't think we know.
I thought she was at another new studio again.
Well,
I can't keep track of her. I can't keep track of her. She's
doing a studio that has a partnership with PlayStation, right? Yeah, okay. They're not owned by PlayStation, but they're doing a partnership. But I don't know what that looks like.
I have no idea. I hope she gets to release a game.
Yes. Jimmy DeBra asks, totally random thought, but have you guys put any thought into adding some LED shelves or something behind you?
So before the stream started, I made a comment about how I'm self-conscious because like all the other people who like do like a video stream like this and they're live, they have like these LED shelves just filled with little gadget stuff, and I have like the like wood dresser that I had in my bedroom when I was 4 years old, like still there, and I put some like little stupid gaming knickknacks that I have, and like that's it. So, but I don't know. I think I have to be true to myself here. I don't think I can just force an LED shelf into my life.
Yeah, if like an LED shelf like showed up, like maybe you would put it up, but yeah.
I'm not like super opposed to it, but I'm not like gonna go like buy an LED shelf.
Right.
You know?
I don't know.
Stumble across one.
For some reason, Jimmy DeRod, that really got me. That really made me happy. All right, Oda asks, this is the serious question time. So Hellblade 2 is going to be at Microsoft's show apparently. Hype gameplay? No, it's not. It's probably not going to be there at all. But it definitely won't be gameplay. Wildfire Trees, or Wildfire Tress is how he spells it. So, but I'm going to just say Wildfire Trees. Starfield gameplay / reveal date revealed this weekend? ? How are you feeling about what they're going to show for Starfield, Mike?
I mean, so I think we all expect them to close with it, right? So it better be. It can't just be a CG trailer. I'm expecting gameplay, and I mean, release date these days could just mean a quarter, right? Like maybe Q1. And that's about as good as you can get anyways. So yeah, I'm expecting gameplay, and I'm expecting like Q1 2022. Maybe they'll even just say 2022. Honestly, who knows? But
right. The only, like I've said before, the only date I've ever heard for this is 2022. And yeah, but if they announce something, I think you're right. It could be something like they could even say like holiday 2022 and stuff like that. But
people are chatting reminding me that I wanted to cancel Starfield. So everyone hush. Now that's a real game. We made that joke back when that's like, did it actually seem like a real game? We can't let people know that I was going to do that.
I think that Starfield, in terms of gameplay, I think we'll see some snippets. I don't think we're going to do a full gameplay demo, but that we'll see some snippets. They will try to show us what that game really is and like show us the promises. All right, 4 more questions left. Pinball RJ asks, will Evil Within 3 or Resident Evil 4 Remake get announced this weekend? Evil Within 3 is not going to get announced. They're not ready because they're working on Ghostwire Tokyo still. And then Resident Evil 4 Remake, we think there's a chance, but I don't know. It seems like they'll probably just focus on that Outrage game for Switch. Yeah. From Francisco, hey guys, do you guys think Battlefield on next gen will be one of the best looking games this E3 and can slide alongside Ratchet as a visual masterpiece? I feel EA has hyped it enough to the point where the game must look stunning on next gen. Thank you. Based on those leaked screenshots we saw, I think it looks very good. But we'll have to see it in action. Frostbite always looks good for these shooters, right?
Right. It's hard to tell if it I don't know if it's going to compare it to something like a Ratchet. It's hard to say anyways because they're 2 very different styles. And again, it is because it's being made for those last gen systems. There are certain things you can't do, certain things that can maybe pull back. But I'm very excited. I think it's going to look very good. And yeah, it might. So almost all the games we're going to see at this E3 are going to come out last gen systems, anyways. Mm-hmm. So in terms of E3, I think it will be one of the best looking games we see at E3. Sure.
I'm very excited because Jackson Tench just sent in a question about DLSS right there at the last minute. So I got one more from Wildfire Trees, and then we're going to talk about DLSS, Mike.
I'm so excited.
Will we see any further gameplay / teasers from BioWare for Dragon Age and Mass Effect? Asks Wildfire Trees.
How many more times can you tease a thing before show us something substantial? But
you're right. Yeah. I think they might talk about both. They might show something more substantial for Dragon Age and tease Mass Effect. They haven't really had to they just released Mass Effect Legendary Edition, so I guess maybe they could talk a little bit more about that and say, hey, thank you so much for supporting that game. Mass Effect's in a good place. Remember that the next Mass Effect game is coming. But I think it is time that we see more about Dragon Age. So yeah. Last one from Jackson Tench. Does DLSS require an internet connection each time the game is booted up? I've seen some folks claim that, and it makes me skeptical of Nintendo making hardware that requires it. Any thoughts? Thanks, fellas. Here's the thing. DLSS, it's deep learning super sampling, and it uses machine learning, and that means it uses AI. And so I understand why people think it means that it is connecting to a cloud to tap into supercomputers somewhere that are running AI algorithms, and so it needs the internet. That's not how it works. What happens is that NVIDIA has giant supercomputers in its lab, and it runs these games at 16K or 32K, not 4K, not 8K, but 16K. It runs the games at 16K, and while it's doing that, it is showing each frame to an AI model, and the AI model learns what the game should look like when it looks perfect at 16K. Oh my God, he's gonna play the goddamn 10 minutes. All right, I'm gonna turn him down here. So at 16K, it's perfect. What the game should look like is perfect. And then it takes that model and it turns it into basically just an AI algorithm that is very easily understood by the game and by the hardware, by the tensor cores. And that stuff lives either in the drivers or in the game itself and does not need the internet in any way. It just works. It's magic. And frankly, I really, really hope that every developer on the Switch Pro uses it, because that would be fantastic. And we are lucky that we even get to, he's still playing the whistle. I can't hear him at all. We're lucky that we have this technology at all, because we are going to get a golden age of just perfect looking games that also run great. And we're also lucky, and I can just see chat going up right now. Okay, all right, I'm done. Mike, play something beautiful.
That's a little Kung Fu Panda for you.
Are you done? All right. I have no more questions. Do we have any more super chats?
I think not. I was not going to. I thought about that. I thought about doing that to you a full minute before I actually had to do it, just to be fair. So.
Well, I think it's time to end this show. I think it's time to wrap up.
Oh, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on Push 5. It looks very good there. That's a good game too. I'm just straight up playing that game again. Also, I like that game.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the rumored Final Fantasy collection?
Oh God, that's the thing I'm looking most forward to almost. It better be real. It better be real. I mean, again, context depends. If somehow it's still like those awful mobile versions, I'm going to be, hey, Infernal Tim, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
Comment. Thank you. But yeah, if it's still somehow that, but I assume that this is like where we can finally get like good preserved versions of those games. And again, like, because it's been so rough, like Final Fantasy 6, the SNES version is very good, but it has some issues that they fix on the GBA version, but then that has slightly worse like visuals and audio because it's on the GBA. So we can finally just make like a definitive version of those 16-bit games. And then you have the first 3 in there because why not? Actually, I don't think we ever actually had an official release of like the original Final Fantasy 3, the NES one here. So that'll be interesting too.
Yeah, that'll be good. Recrap, I think that's how you say his name in chat, says, any final thoughts leading into the weekend? What do you think, Mike? Any final predictions? Any final hopes and dreams? I know.
Gosh, I mean, the Final Fantasy thing, I hope is real. Now, I hope that the Zelda stuff we're expecting happens.
Yes.
If we get shortchanged on Zelda, that may like ruin the whole Nintendo.
I agree.
Kind of thing. I think
I'm right there with
like,
you.
Don't shortchange us. Like, give us. We know what the minimum is, right? We know that the minimum is Breath of the Wild 2 and the Wind Waker Twilight Princess bundle, and we know we're going to talk about Skyward Sword. So let's see those 3 at the minimum, and like maybe something else. But yeah, let's make Zelda feel important here.
I agree. Yeah, I just want to feel good about Zelda coming out of it. I think that's their goal, so I have high hopes for it. I hope they just don't flub it up in any way, and I hope Starfield is great. Honestly, if I come out of this E3 show really wanting to play Zelda games and really wanting to play Starfield, I'll be in a good place with games right now. I just played Ratchet and Clank on my PS5 and loved it, and so I'm like, if Nintendo and Microsoft could sort of say, and here's some stuff that you're going to look forward to next, I'll just be feeling really good about games overall. Actually, I don't know if I can talk about that yet. That might be embargo. That Lego Builder's Journey game, I don't think I can mention anything about it, but I want to talk about that because for some reason it just is one of the best looking games I've ever played. So we should talk about that at some point.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, Mike. Let's wrap this up. Why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet while I do this button here and turn this off?
Yeah,
and
push your button.
Music.
You can find me on Twitter at Tokoto, TOLKOTO. Also, check out my 90s Disney podcast, 90s Disney, at 90sdisney.com.
The internet is weird because throughout this entire chat, Juan Castillo has been saying, Jeff, are you really 63 years old? I don't believe you. And I've never claimed to be 63 years old. That is just Google. That is Google. If you Google the name Jeff Grubb, you get my images, but you get his like Wikipedia facts because he has Wikipedia because he's like an author, and I'm just like some scrub like writing about video games.
Yeah, look at that. It's your pictures, and it says that you're from Pittsburgh, PA, which isn't very far from me.
But not true.
That's hilarious.
Yep, it's because he's got a Wikipedia page, but like my images. Yeah.
Somehow you're more famous than him that you have more images, but not famous enough to have a Wikipedia.
Exactly. I am that weird sort of zone between. I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I have the other shows, How Games Make Money. I think I'll have a new episode very soon. It's weird because of E3. And then I do the Game Mess show. I try to do that live on Tuesdays each week on twitch.tv/JeffGrubb. But honestly, again, who knows what the E3 will be finishing that Tuesday, so probably will not be doing one next week. We will be doing these episodes all through E3 though. So we had
we'll do another one tomorrow.
Yeah, we did the normal show today. The show tomorrow is going to be a response to what happened with E3 tomorrow, and that's kind of it. But we'll be doing that each day through Tuesday. So yeah, we did one of those last night. So if you missed it, if you're just watching live now, if you missed the one last night, we reacted to Summer Game Fest and Elden Ring and all that stuff. So you should check that out. That's on the feed. That's on YouTube. That's everywhere. Mike, what are you going to do for the rest of the night? You just going to chill? Going to go take a nap?
Gonna go visit my pops.
Yeah.
My pops had a knee surgery. He's doing well, but I'm going to go give him a little visit. Probably play Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14, maybe we'll talk about that eventually. All the World of Warcraft streamers are like talking about it now. There's at least one report how Final Fantasy 14 like has more players than World of Warcraft now. Depending on how you might take some creative math to get to that. But the point is that World of Warcraft was always invincible, and maybe not so much now. And because it's been so long since it had an update, Final Fantasy 14 on the rise.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.